Yachika. I am a seagull. These were the words uttered by the first woman in space, Valentina Tereshkova. All alone aboard the former Soviet Union spaceship Vostok 6, floating in the void of space, a place of complete silence and emptiness, with a hollow feeling of isolation upon her, yet still able to draw the parallel between herself and a seagull to express the liberating feeling of breaking free from everything. I am a seagull. Such beautiful words. If it were me, I'd never have been able to come up with something so clever. I'd probably try being sarcastic and say that I am a girl trapped in a cage. Though, if you think about it, would that really be sarcasm? A lonely girl locked away inside a tiny, narrow cage. Right now, I'm somewhere as close to heaven as I'll ever be. "33,000 feet up in the air."
Kagome, Kagome, crouch little bird inside your cage. When, oh, when will you get out? In the evening lit by dawn, a crane and turtle slipped and fell. Who is behind you, can you tell?
Suddenly, the world around me disappears. Someone from the seat behind me has covered both my eyes with their hands.
Who is behind you, can you tell? Who is behind you, can you tell?
Who could it be?
Who could it be?
I wonder who it is.
Who do you think it is?
No one's traveling with me on this flight. I boarded this plane by myself. I don't have the slightest idea. Judging by the voice, which was still undergoing the changes of puberty, it could only be the boy sitting in the seat behind me. The palms that covered my eyes were pretty small. It's useless! I give up! I give up! I raised both my arms and spun around my wrists playfully.
Are you sure you give up?
Yup.
Well then, I guess I have to tell you. The correct answer was... Kusuda Yuni-kun!
Turning around, I found, as I had expected, a boy who looked to be about elementary school age. He was leaning over the headrest with an innocent smile. Kusuda Yuni-kun is what he said. I didn't remember hearing that name anywhere, nor having ever seen his face. I see. Yuni-kun, is it? That's a cute name.
Thanks! My friends often tease me by calling me Unishiro or Unithath, though.
His shyly smiling face was friendly and charming.
Hey, One-chan, can I sit next to you? The seat here is free, right?
I took a glance at my wristwatch. There was still a lot of time before we would reach our destination. Come on over. I patted the seat by the window. The boy who introduced himself as Yuni pounced into the seat beside me, as suddenly as in a game of musical chairs where the music had stopped. Hey, there was something I was curious about. Do you mind if I ask?
What is it?
When you were singing the Kagome song earlier, you sang, "In the evening lit by dawn," right? If I remember correctly, I think that part should be "in the evening moonlight."
In the evening moonlight?
Right, because evening lit by dawn doesn't really make much sense, does it? When it's dawn, the sun rises in the east, and at night, the sun sets in the west, right?
So is that the way you sang it when you were a kid on H-Han?
Yep. I gave a confident nod.
But I think evening lit by dawn is how it should be.
Yuni said so while picking at the chipped nail of one of his fingers.
Because, after that, the next lines go with the crane and turtle part, as well as who is behind you, which is literally who is in front of your back, right? Dawn and evening. Crane and turtle. The back and the front. They're all two things that make up a pair by being the opposites of one another. Light and shadow, yin and yang, male and female, imaginary numbers and real numbers. This whole world is made up of elements that contradict each other, but at the same time need to coexist with one another. I think this is what the Kagome song tries to say. That's why evening lit by dawn would be much more fitting than evening moonlight.
I see. I groaned without noticing.
All that being said, my interpretation may not be completely correct. That song still has many mysteries to it.
Mysteries? What kind of mysteries?
Well, let's see. For example, just what does Kagome mean? What is the symbolism behind the bird within the cage? Why did the crane and turtle slip? Did they have to slip? And then there's the who is behind you, can you tell?
As he hummed that phrase, Yuni took off his glasses. He covered his eyes with his own hands and turned around.
Right now I can't see anything at all. They say that out of all of our senses, sight is responsible for 8/10 of all the information we humans gather, you know? That means that right now, I'm only able to feel a mere 2/10 of everything that's occurring around me with my other senses. The remaining 80% is left vague and unclear. I have no way of knowing what One-chan's doing behind me right now, or what kind of expression she has on her face. Right now, One-chan's existence is one of many unknowns to me. Until I open my eyes and turn around, what's behind me is still undecided.
Just as Yuni was unable to see my face, I was unable to see what kind of expression he had on his. I was only able to see his back. a small back. How old are you anyway? After a slight pause, I asked him that.
11.
Yuni turned around, with his eyes still covered. Then, he peered at me through his fingers.
Thank goodness that you're here!
His cheeks lift into a broad smile as he laughs. His smile was certainly that of an 11-year-old.
Straining my ears, I could still hear the sound of the wind. Outside, the snow was still blowing violently about. I held my breath as I stood in front of an iron door. Beside the door, a small red light was blinking in the darkness. The card reader that controlled the lock on the door. The treacherous red light gave away its location. I put my hand in my pocket and pulled out a single key card. I traced the engraved letters with my fingertip. Yukidoh, Satoru. That is my name. I haven't ever really liked my name that much. I twirled the card in my fingers and spun it around. I inserted it into the reader's slot and let it slide through. The light on the card reader turned green. The lock opened and the door opened, just the slightest crack. I pushed it open and stepped into the darkness, as if drawn by something.